Looking at the simple, honest man in front of her, Annie had a sudden thought. Maybe this time it would work. She shouted to catch the rascal. She knew in her heart that Mike hadn't meant to do it, but still shouting, claiming that the boy was a hooligan. He touched me while she was sleeping, and so innocent Mike was wrongly accused. Annie demanded that he be taken to the police station immediately, but the passengers on the bus said the police station was the next stop, and asked to continue. Annie's heart was broken. How could there be anything at the next stop? But she didn't give up. She put on a look of resignation, this look of pity. Who could refuse her request? And they all agreed to let her off now. And so it was. Annie finally got off the bus of death, but as she got off the bus, she was frozen in place again. She thought to herself that she could save one person, but the passengers didn't want to get involved. The only one who could be saved was probably Mike. Annie lied and said she was taking him to the police station, so Mike was taken down, relieved at last. He'd survived, but little did she know that it was only just beginning. At this point, Mike's face was full of innocence, and he could never have imagined the girl who framed him was the one who saved his life. Mike was trying not to be late, so he called a taxi and kept on going. Annie was also walking in a state of shock, and just when she thought it was over, there was another explosion. She was frozen in fear when a motorbike dodged and knocked her down. Annie also fell hard on her head. She soon fell into a coma. She was taken to hospital. The situation on the other side was even worse. Mike, who had already got off the bus, was still injured by the blast. It turned out that the taxi he was in had been following the bus. It was still in the area of the explosion. Soon afterwards, firefighters took him to hospital. Mike was now dying from the blast, and it just so happened that they both passed each other at the hospital. Fate seemed to have tied them together. It didn't take long. The police found something suspicious. Surveillance of the bus passing by showed two people getting off at a non-stop. The bus then exploded. They were also rightly listed as suspicious. Annie told Zhang Cheng everything that had happened, but who in heaven's name would believe such an outrageous story? And then, another piece of bad news arrived. Mike, who had been named as a suspect, was about to die. The doctors immediately tried to resuscitate him, but Mike still didn't make it. He thought he was going to die, but the next minute, the dead Mike was back on the bus again. Congratulations to Mike for joining the game. The 7th cycle has begun.